Welcome to Friday night's video in our second master series. I do believe this is the 50th video in our second master series and the third video on tuning meters and tuning software. So, since we are working at going to the next level as being a master audio engineer, let's address something that is very important. Now, I have Melodyne Studio here. I really recommend this piece of software, although it is fairly expensive. But it's a goal for you to shoot for being that next level master audio engineer. I always recommend catch things in the capture. I stress that a lot. That way that you don't have to kill yourself as an engineer fixing things. But things happen. And we know that every moment in time has to be taken as utmost importance for our productions to get to that next level. So this we talked about the basic functions of like an introductory level of like Melodyne Essentials or something like that that can just help you start getting you ready for that, and start getting you ready seeing, that it's a whole new world of you seeing the frequency realm and the tuning realm of what's happening to help give you much more tools to help you become that next level master audio engineer. And so I highly recommend it. Now, let's get into something else. This piece of software helps. I use it for a lot of different things, and it's because I see innovation happening, and so I've bought it because I think they seem to sound like they're trying to innovate and do a lot of other things. But just as far as tuning and things like that, we could talk about like lead guitar or lead keyboards or something like that, but let's focus on vocals because that can be the same kind of thing. Now, what is the problem with vocals? The problem with vocals is we don't have like a guitar or a bass that it's like A, B, C, D, F, G, A sharp, D, O, dum. It doesn't work like that. Vocals go, and then I want to go down in line, I want to be in, I want my, never, who knows, all over the dang place. Trying to tune that can seem like ridiculousness. You'd be sitting around that, and somebody who is a novice engineer just going, "Well, sir, I mean, maybe just like tune, not sing like crap, that would help, And it's like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but there can be issues. Now, just besides those targets that normally things start somewhere, they end somewhere, right? And those are target areas. Those are your fundamental focus because those are normally what people focus on. But where they're going can be a problem. So how they're getting there can be a problem. And when they get there, what are the other problems? So the other problems we run into is transitions, is how I phrase this, because I hear a vocalist and he's like, and then I go, then B to when I be. Those are transitions where he's gliding up or down or doing little wavering things as he jumps from one note to another as he's bouncing around. And there's lots of different ways that I've seen people do that. Those can be problems depending on how good the vocalist is, and being able to address those are huge issues. The next problem we run into are things like vibrato. There's a couple different aspects of vibrato. First aspect of vibrato, which is frequency modulation. If I hit an A, static like a tone generator, or I go and I start adding, frequency vibrato to it or frequency modulation. That's a problem. And then also, it's maybe inconsistent. So I have another problem of where it's bouncing around, that it's not consistent. So that I get something going through a waveform, that I've got this vibrato thing showing here, and it's going along nice right here, and then it goes up way up here, or down right there, or na, and it's inconsistent. So it can be a problem because I've got this great line of the guy goes, and then I want to have fleas, and it's like, yeah, but right then, fleas, he did something. Oh no, he went down and dropped a note. How do I fix that? I get in there and start trying to cut that piece of audio to fix that, which you can, but it can be a real pain in the butt. And sometimes you can just make a mess and get frustrated. But with this piece of audio software, you can fix this. So getting you to understand this is the first thing to understand, this piece of software is a tool you're going to want to invest in to becoming that next level master audio engineer. And the next thing, with the same breath, is that you're going to want to experiment with it. That doesn't mean try to get a bunch of files from other people and look for problems, but get out a microphone and practice. Record yourself. Doing stuff, waving around, trying to stay in tune, making things out of tune in your transitions as you're flowing around, going from one place to another or one note to another, and also your vibrato. Record some stuff and practice with it. It's a better idea to teach you that. This piece of software is pretty complicated, so you're going to be reading a while. There's no doubt about it, just with these aspects. But you can address these issues. You can get in there, and these transitions that are happening between here, that you can actually address these as they're going from one note to another and affect that aspect of the vocal and the performance, which is immeasurably helpful, because I'll have this little chorus section, and when the guy does this little transition thing, it's off a little bit, but it's like, it's like pitch bend or something, and trying to get in there and adjust pitch bend to what pitch bend he did while he was going from one place to another that was off a little bit. And sometimes it's a little hard. Sometimes you got to get in there and actually cut the piece of audio on either side to have a separate clip to deal with it. Sometimes you can deal it this way and address it there after you've tuned either side of it, the destinations, the starting and destination, but you can fix that. And so it's a huge thing to help you get to the next level of you being able to fix that, because you might not use it for 2 or 3 songs, but you might have one song that's off a little bit, you can't re-record it, or the performance was perfect, dude, that it took you 3 or 4 or 5 captures to get it, and there's one thing off, and you're like, oh dude, I'm going to try to punch that in or something, but without having to fuss with it, you can just go fix it, and you becoming proficient at doing it, and bam, it's done, it's fixed, off you go, bam, out the door and rolling. And also these vibrato things, you get vibrato issues happening, you get notes that you're having vibrato going on, like this here, that you've got vibrato happening, that this pitch modulation that you want to, there's hardly none, so you want to add some to it. Or you've got some here, there's hardly none, you want to add some to it, and then maybe go over here and adjust this a little bit. You might have to cut this to drop that down if it's a problem or not. Sometimes you see here there's not a lot of modulation going on. Sometimes there is. Sometimes you get a lot of modulation. Look at what's happening here. Now you've got a new problem here that this has dropped way down. So you've got this pitch drift kind of tool that you're going to try to bring that up because it's drifting way off. You've got some modulation going on there, and it's okay, except for that it was drifting way down off of the fundamental note that was too much. So now you've drifted that back up in there, and possibly the modulation is a little bit too much, and so you're going to flatten the modulation out. You've fixed the pitch drift because it dipped way down there, and then on top of it, this over here, it's got this transition going to it a little bit much, and you adjusted that also. You've just saved yourself with just 3 simple steps, made something sound phenomenal where it was having a little bit of an issue. But now it's like, bam, right there. Yeah, dude. All right. You have just taken another step into being a next level master audio engineer by utilizing this piece of software to correct small issues like that. Sometimes it might be off just a little bit, and you fixing it goes from your production being, yeah, that's pretty good, bro, I like that, to wow, does that make sense? Or it can take something that was, to yeah, dude, okay. And it's like, because does that make sense? And you're being able to deal with it right here in a piece of software without having to deal with the band, the producer, or anybody, and you just fixing the problem. Just to be real careful that you don't fix stuff that somebody else doesn't think is a problem. You got to be real careful of that. So, keep that in mind. But, there's the other concept also, is when you get a more advanced piece of software like this, that it's going to help you see a whole lot of things we're not going to really get into in this video. But as you get to be familiarize yourself with this piece of software and get really used to going and seeing these things, the pitch modulation, the pitch drift, transitions between notes, how it breaks notes up for some reason, and when that's a problem, when that isn't a problem, where there's breaks here, it's like there's a break right there. You know, in this modulation, it's going way up there for some reason. Is that a problem? Do I need to get down in here and get my pitch drift tool and fix that problem, bring that down? It drifted way off. And then I got to come up here and then fix that a little bit. And then it doesn't, did that fix the problem? Was it a problem? You will start to see issues when it's obvious it's not something normal. So basically what's going to happen by you familiarizing yourself with this piece of software and becoming that quote next level master audio engineer, that you start to visualize footprints. When things are a problem, when things aren't a problem, what things are normal in certain situations or certain types of productions. We're working with certain types of instruments or vocalists or lead guitarists or, you know, piano chords. I mean, I can get this out and look at full piano chords that have all these characteristics themselves on all the notes, to where I'm not looking at just single notes. It's polyphonic, to where I can see all the notes laid out and things that are happening on that I can catch. There's a problem there. The guitarist, you know, his G string is out a little bit, and I'm going to go through the whole production and find his G string and fix it because he's off by, you know, 8, 12 cents, you know, where the rest of the guitar was tuned fine, and I can fix that problem besides these other real detailed problems. So it's a big investment, but you getting to that next level of being that next level master audio engineer, that it is going to help take you to that next level. I don't know of you know, you have things that this piece of software that will help you with that are going to be very difficult to do without it. So you're going to have two choices of letting it fly or re-recording it, or spending a whole lot of time cutting up audio, trying to fuss with stuff and trying to fix things, which sometimes you can and sometimes you just can't, because you can't get in there under the hood of what's happening without this piece of software to fix the problem, which is a problem. Because, you know, I normally tell people that buying new software is great when it's doing something you can't do, or helping your workflow become easier, or doing something that you can't get to any other way, at which point you want to investigate to whether or not that is a good investment for you. And this piece of software is a good investment because it's doing all those things and helping you in all kinds of different ways. So it's highly recommended in you becoming that next level master audio engineer. So with that being said, that I hope I kept that real simple. We didn't get into a whole lot about how the software works, all the different things it can do, because it can do a lot of different things, but we're focusing on tuning. And just with tuning aspects and things that happen with tuning, that it can help you immensely. You know, no matter what's going on with any aspect of tunings, frequency, vibrato, transitions, going from one place to another, that you getting a piece of software like this and start experimenting with it, start practicing with it, start getting used to having it out when you're doing flow editing, to start visualizing footprints of what is normal, what isn't in different situations, and being able to correct issues, you know, really do some really detailed correction work, some fine detailed correction work, is going to take you to the next level of that. Every moment in time is important, getting you flagging things in a whole new way and much more detailed, you know, type of analysis and reparations and editing and flow editing that are going to most assuredly take you to that next level and make sure that every moment in time has been taken care of from the tuning aspect of your production. So I hope you enjoyed this short segment on tuning meters and tuning software, and I will see you in the next video.